This video is part 2. To watch part 1, please click the I button on the top left corner. Please do like and subscribe as it really motivates a small creator like me. Now, let's move to the video. Then they both go for the marriage. In the mind are Jane, literally shouting, thinking to go, because he took after his mom's genes. And then they both are put with the same brooch on each other, brought in by the priest. And with this, the priest produced them wife and husband and wife. Then the people of the empire cheers for them as they march forward, but suddenly the brooch drops and someone picks it up for her. A beautiful young lady with pink hairs and jade eyes. Even our Jane thinks she is so pretty, but Jane, let me make this clear. You and even your before version both were exceptionally beautiful. Then her lady-in-waiting picks it up from the lady and puts it on Jane. Jane thanks her. But of course in Manhwas like this speech is important and a jealous girl will be the tastiest one. Jane thinks I may have gotten here alone, but I am going with my husband. And she glances at him, and he of course shimmers with his beauty. The prince speaks, I know it is our first meeting, but you are making me rather uncomfortable, crown princess. Oh no. Jane blushes and thinks, what have I done wrong? It's him being handsome. Crown prince says she is his wife now. You will look at this face for the rest of your life, so please stop staring at me. I look forward on living with you. And our Jane thinks that his smile is out of the world. And yes, it is. Then in the castle we see some maids pulling her, trying to put her somewhere. They say to her, Your Highness, you must go. And she, I mean our little Jane, says that she is still underage. Let go of her, please. She can't consummate this marriage tonight. And then they leaves her in a dark room. And she sees her light. I mean the crown prince. He closes his book when he notices her. Jane gulps. The crown prince steps to come towards Jane. Jane trembles, thinks, why is he coming this way? No, stay away, mister, please. But just wow. Then he reaches for the bottle of wine. He asks her if she would like to drink. Then he pours the drink down. Introduces the drink name. It's close to La Roche Cuvée. It's rather dry and may feel heavy because it's not very sweet, but underneath it has a soft touch of smoothness that gives it highly sophisticated flavor. He sips it. But suddenly on Jane's glass there falls a light. She thinks, was the veil this close to her face? Wait, it can't be. The crown prince says, this is what I look for, whether it is wine or people. Do you plan to stand there all night like that? Come sit next to me. Then she sees her reflection in the glass of wine and her face had turned back to her real one. She looks for her lipstick, but oh no, it's in her room. She thinks she is screwed. Then the crown prince puts his glass down and says, since it's already late, shall we straight head to bed? Jane thinks, what are you doing? Don't get up. Just what are you thinking right now? Don't come close, I will call the cops. She backs down. The crown prince says that we are married now. She just shouts inside her heart to stop. But he chuckles and lowers his hand. Then he grabs her glass. He still continues to laugh. Did the wine affect him too much? Jane thinks, what? He still laughs and says that he was just trying to prank her. Don't worry, nothing is gonna happen tonight, and I am sad I missed your adorable look of surprise. Jane thinks, what a joke? The crown prince says, just like is mentioned in my letters, that I am not pleased with this engagement either. However, we must still serve our duties as the crown princess and crown prince. So let's make sure we do our part for the stability of alliance of the two nations as we talked in our letter. I will do everything in my power to make you the empress, so you have nothing to worry about. Isn't that great that we are on the same page? Says the crown prince. Jane thinks, wow, so not after you pulled so fast one on me. Suddenly the crown prince puts his glass down and says, let me offer you a word of advice. Don't get too close to my father and that woman. She is a dangerous and evil woman. Well, I am sure you will able to handle everything though. You know that people often say that a man and woman become husband and wife not when they have a wedding, but when the view comes off in the privacy of a room. We don't need to become real spouses since it's uncomfortable for you. So why don't you take that off? Suddenly she grabs his wrist. This thing leaves the crown prince confused. And swoosh sends him flying. He asks, what is she doing? Jane comes close, puts her hand on sofa and says, then you should sleep like that tonight. While holding her veil. In honor of our agreement, good night. Then she goes to bed. And our crown prince thinks his eyes out, unable to process. He says, but I am the crown prince. Jane says, sleep. Crown Prince, scared, says you should still take it off. Isn't it uncomfortable? If you so much touch the veil, I am going to jump at you, says his wife, the Crown Princess. Then he turns and sleeps, but still scared. At morning, Jane wakes up before him and thinks about last night. By seeing him sleeping, she thinks that he is an angel. What on earth did he talked about in his letters with Jane? Oh wait, my lipstick. I don't have time to sit around like that. So she dashes to take it. And our Crown Prince really sleeps like a baby. She goes here and they're almost reaching her room. But suddenly she bumps in someone and flies back and her veil flies off. The person takes his hand out but misses. His glasses drop simultaneously with Jane. Then we see Jane's otherworld mother beating her for not studying and doing makeup. And of course Jane starts to cry at her sister's studio waiting for Rhea, but suddenly she notices someone. It was the hottest boy in her school. Just before that, in school he asked me if we have PE period next. Jane nods. The boy smiles and says thank you. Jane thinks why she has to run into him now of all times. On the top of that, I don't want him to see my crying. Well, I should just say it's nothing and at least give him a hi. She says him hi and bro ignores and just walks away. Jane thinks that's too embarrassing. Did that jerk just ignore me? What a rude. Oh wait. Then something clicks in her mid. She recalls how she was wearing a lot of makeup at school. So she looked completely different. She thinks maybe it's good he didn't recognize me, or maybe it was inevitable. After all, I am a completely different person compared to how I want others to perceive me. If only I was born beautiful. If I could become beautiful with a flick of a wand. Would I be able to live as one person instead of two? Then back at the scene. Jane wobbles thinking she's going to fall. The man puts his shoe on her skirt and catches her. He says you should be more careful, mademoiselle. Jane thinks she is screwed. He must have seen my face. Then Jane apologizes and hands his glass to him. She puts on the veil and thinks let's just get out. Then suddenly Unibrow comes. She runs and thinks why is he here? The man recognizes him. Unibrow asks what is he doing here? The man says long time no see. I heard you were back in Durban. But I had no idea I do run into you here. Unibrow ignores and first says to Jane what is she doing here? She should return to her room. The man says shouldn't you have gone to Eden first, he misses you a lot. Are you in touch with Phoebe? Unibrow looks up and says we are not exactly on good terms, so let's steer clear of each other as much as possible. Also, I have long forgotten that name. Is that so? While going, Jane thinks what if Unibrow sees her face? And who is that guy? He must have seen my face. Who I am going to do? I should have been there earlier. I had no idea you do get up so early. Says Unibrow, I don't mean to make you flustered like that. Jane says it's fine, don't worry about that. She thinks in her mind that she was more flustered by her entrance. I only got up early to find my lipstick, but Unibrow is such an early bird. It's okay, as soon as I got to my room, I will grab my lipstick. Unibrow opens the door and says there is no need for you to keep that on. So he pulls it. Then suddenly Jane rushes. Her eyes out, teeth out. Fast to the lipstick and grabs it. This leaves Unibrow in shock. Then a flash comes out. He asks for Her Highness. Suddenly she comes out looking him in the eyes. Jane says to Unibrow if he would come here for a second. And our Unibrow naughty as ever blushes. Jane tells Unibrow to come here for a second. She makes him sit. And starts finding for something. Then she founds it. Unibrow is so scared lol, but beauty is pain. She comes forward. One, Jane, you look so scary. Unibrow asks her what is she doing right now? Then she holds up his face and swish, 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 cut, cut, cut. Jane thinks I knew the moment I laid my eyes on him, but he is sleek, weak-kept, and overall quite charming. She then blushes, so did he. Then Jane hands him the mirror. Fabian says that he don't really see any difference. But I guess this isn't half bad. Jane goes somewhere. And our ex-Unibrow Fabian is still admiring his beauty. Jane says, oh, I almost forgot. She asks who is that guy who caught her when she fall. Fabian didn't understood. Jane explains you know the guy we ran into when you came to get me? He was sharp as a knife like this, but really gorgeous. Fabian explains that he was Nicholas Dawson, the second son of the Count Dawson. The Dawson family have served the royal house of Durban for generations, not to mention their influence and incredible wealth. Jane says, But from the look of it, I don't think you both are on good terms. Fabian says the Crown Prince, Nicholas, and I were in the same class. There is noting more to it. Our cold ex, unibrow. Fabian continues, now then, why don't you take a seat here, Your Highness? Then suddenly we go to our still sleeping Crown Prince. Nicholas comes to wake him up. He asks whether he's spent his night like that. Crown Prince first confused, but then chuckles. He calls Nick and says that I think that he thinks he married to pretty amazing woman. Then we see Jane listening to the nagging of Fabian. You are now the Crown Princess of the great Empire of Durban. This marriage is more than a union of man and woman. As the link between your empire Lomendal and Durban, you bear heavy responsibility. Our fates depends on you. There are eyes and ears everywhere. So, remember that your word, your every actions, represents Lomendal as well as the royal house of Durban. Hence you must always be careful with your words. And never do anything except the etiquette. Jane gets a doubt and raises her hand. Fabian allows her to speak. Jane says I have seen arranged marriages like this on books, so I get it. But what if I fall in love with someone? Fabian asks, love? Jane says I am not in love right now or anything, but I mean it could happen. And I didn't exactly volunteer for this marriage. Fabian nags. Don't expect to fall in love, you must accept your fate as a royal just as your ancestors have done. It is all of our own good. Jane sighs and says, so basically you want me to suck it up and live with it? Jeez. What a snooze. I should have known what was coming at me the moment they put that dress on me. Fabian says your relationship with the Crown Prince is equivalent to the relationship between the two nations. Divorce is out of the question. However, if you must, you may take a paramour. Jane says, what, a paramour? Is that like a mistress? I thought only kings were allowed to do this. Is that so? Can I have men for me too? Really, people here are so open-minded. But of course you will need the approval of the Crown Prince, and the men must be acceptable by the royal court, says Fabian. Jane says, oh, don't take this so seriously, Fabian. I am okay even if he is a little flappy. I am especially okay with his face. A face like his is not bad. Fabian calls her, Are you Highness, don't trust the Crown Prince. Then someone knows. Fabian says, oh, it looks like she is here. Jane asks, who? Then someone with Ankh shoes with baby pink flower decorations and very shiny boots. Ah, you get it. Jane just freezes. Tonight, in the most extravagant hall in all of Durban Palace, a grand ball celebrating the Crown Prince wedding was held. Because this is the first social event where the Crown Princess officially introduces herself to the nobles of the empire. Even those who didn't particularly enjoy such occasions made themselves available for this important event. Befitting the title of the grand ball, it was truly splendid, lavish, and exquisite. And as a star of such an occasion, I too was elaborate. Then the world-class fashion designers came. Rosier and Elise are here. Pink Barbie speaks, as this is the first ball, the other nobles will come in the fanciest outfits. But Loss, your Highness should not be outfinished. Purple Barbie, because we're going to make you the belle of the ball. Jane thinks her hair is way too heavy. Which it of course is heavy. And I have brought the hottest accessories especially for you. Now behold the final piece to complete your look. Jane asks, what is that? Pink Barbie explains, you place it on your head and everyone loves. And that will break your skull, I guess. Jane says, no thanks, I don't need it. As she is barely keeping her head up, wearing that will definitely break my neck. Then what do you think about this one? It's AF statue. Jane scrams, they are not for designs, they are both so. Put them down. Who would wear something like that on head? Or so I thought, but. Your Highness Viscountess Rochuda at your service. Bruh, what is that, a fruit basket? And this isn't even that bad. What are these gardens and what are those? See, a ship, no, 2 ships and 1 octopus. The age of discovery going on there. And some with balloons too, but that's not the worst one yet. The worst one is literally with face of a Sigma. Fabian calls out to Jane. And Jane, frustrated, think I have greeted a countless numbers of nobles now, but I can't remember any of them. All I can think about is how awkward and uncomfortable the situation is. Well, I guess he has kind of grown on me these past days. Now I am grateful to have Fabian around. He look much better without that unibrow. Eyebrows are such a wonder, even though they take a small amount of face, but still have a huge impact on how a person looks. It's not only a matter of fullness, but also beauty. Then someone calls Jane out. The slightest downward tilt can make you look sad despite the biggest smile. Congratulations on your wedding, Your Highness. Then a marquis, it's an horror to meet you. When they are tilted up, them make you look furious. This is my daughter Sabella Borgonya. Congratulations on your wedding, Your Highness. Jane calls out ahead of time, you are the girl from the church. Sabella says, yeah, that's right, it's an honor to meet you. Jane says, how can I forget such a beautiful face? Then the Marquise says His Highness must be running late again. Of course, he has never enjoyed such events, but surely I thought he would change after he got married. I guess some people never change. I can't believe he is late to the grand ball, which is meant otherwise celebrate is one wedding. He must understand how important this ball is to you. Even if you are from some tacky little kingdom. Don't you think he is being rather rude to you, Your Highness? Subscribe for a punch and hype it for a kick. Fabian explains that this man holds very grateful power in the Nobel Society and have a strong military. His daughter is also well connected and exerts a significant influence on the noble ladies of the societies. Jane says, oh, my neck, my feet are killing me. But suddenly she gets goosebumps. She looks up to see the glare of a lady. Jane looks away, thinks, oh, what the hell, why is she giving me a dirty look? I swear there are laser beams shooting out from her eyeballs. Wait, hang on. Then she looks at His Majesty the Emperor of the Great Empire of Durban. Jane goes to Fabian, asks him, who is that lady giving me death? Stare like that? Fabian asks, what? Jane says, over there. The woman with red hair and laser beams shooting out her eyes. Jane shouts, don't stare at her like that. She might see you. Fabian says, she is the Emperor's chief mistress. Jane asks, what's that, a concubine? A little context. The Empress, mother of the Crown Prince, already passed away, and the concubine Prohita, although she was nothing more than a lowly performer, she managed to seduce the Marquis and become a Marchioness. Fabian says that the Emperor is so fond of her, so he keeps her around, but even His Majesty Downs recognize her as his spouse. Well, I guess it's no surprise considering her humble origin. Jane says, okay, I get all that, but why the hell is she giving me a stink eye? Fabian says, it's probably because she is a self-obsessed female bark and you didn't pay her a visit on the day you arrived at the palace. LOL, cut that self-obsessed part, he didn't said it. Jane says, what is that, it then I will go right now and... Fabian says, there is no need. But he suddenly grabbed her hair. Then Fabian apologizes ahead, sorry, it was just within my grasp. Then Fabian says she may be Emperor's consort, but you need not offer your greetings as she is from the humble descent origin. Jane says, geez. It's just a quick hello, let me go and say hi to her. That way, she won't glare at me like that anymore. Fabian says not to pay attention to her and stay away from her. Jane says, but how can I not pay attention to her deadly gaze shooting fire? Fabian says her not to get involved with her if you can. No good will come out of being affiliated with her. It will only cause a ruckus. She might even cause you a damage. Jane says, oh, come on. But I should have listened to Fabian when I had the chance. Further, you will see in this story how Jane humiliates and cooks this red tomato and how she riz up the Crown Prince and that man with the glass. To see more of this, please subscribe and hype the video to support us.